As you can see, a significant part of the world is covered by forests, both coniferous, and that means cone coniferous, pine cone, evergreens, temperate, which is the kind of forest that are around Georgia, and tropical, which is the jungles. Are we going to see in Indonesia, Central Africa, and South America? The Borla Forests, also known as Tasia, are the forests that are within Siberia, Canada, and Alaska. These are the tall, narrow Christmas trees that are evergreens that you see. One of the most important part about forests is they help watershed management. When it rains, their roots absorb a lot of the water. If there's no roots, no plants to absorb the water, you have mudslides dirtying the water and causing all kinds of other problems. Here's a mudslide right here to give you a good example. And you can see at the bottom of the page, for scale, about 50 people standing there. The Deforestation Index shows how much forest you can cut down throughout the world. Here in the United States, we don't have a major problem. We're planting as many trees as we're cutting down. But you can see in South America, as well as parts of Africa, Indonesia, where our rainforests are that make a majority of our oxygen, they have a high deforestation index. In other words, more is being cut down than is growing. Many products beyond wood come from the rainforest. Rubber from rubber trees, dyes from plants, nuts, as well as medicinal plants. Many people don't know that aspirin actually comes from tree bark from oaks, as well as fruit, such as these bananas. The problem with cutting down the rainforest and then using them as farmland is very nutrient poor. There's so much rain that most of the nutrients have washed out thousands of years ago. Many of the plants you see within plant shops are actually rainforest plants. They have large leaves, very broad-based, to absorb as much sunlight as possible. Because the majority of them are over 200 to 300 feet tall, very little sunlight gets to the bottom, so they have to be large to capture what light does get there. Temperate deciduous forests are what occurs here in the eastern half of the United States, including Georgia. Temperate deciduous forests are rich and fertile, the kind of brownish soil you see throughout the eastern part of the United States. In fact, in the Northeast, where they've been farming for several hundred years, there's still plenty of fertility within the soil. These are the Borla Forests you see within Canada, Alaska, and Siberia. As I described earlier, these are the tall, narrow Christmas tree types. When we talk about Treestand Types, we're talking about the industry of timber. Pure stand is one kind of tree. So at least 80% of one type of tree. Mixed stand on the right here are different trees, oaks, pines, shrubs. As you can see, a pure stand, if you know you're going for a certain tree and it's all there, you'll make more money that way. Stand density. This is how many trees there are per square foot. And you can see on the left, a lot more trees and larger trees on the left than there are on the right. Over here you can see different types of ages. Uneven age, all different trees of all different ages. Two-aged, many older ones and many younger ones must have been planted at different times. And then even age, all planted at the same time. Little seedlings here, you get them when you donate your Christmas tree to be cut up at the Home Depot or Lowe's, or at school functions sometimes in the spring. No real economic value. Of course, this is where all trees start. But again, from a timber point of view, no real economic value. The sapling, kind of again by Home Depot or Pike, by a nursery, no real economic value beyond what you're buying to plant in your yard. Pole timber. This is wood that is straight, be used obviously for poles, power lines, and the like. These go anywhere from 4 inches to 12 inches in diameter. Probably $100 a pole for a pole that's 30 feet. And then there's saw timber. This is where the real money is made. As if you've ever gone shopping for wood, you know how expensive some of this can be. 80-90 foot tree that's 12 inches or bigger diameter can get thousands of dollars of retail money made off of that. Agriculture evolution. Part of the agriculture evolution was the increase of timber, which would be harvested, building more homes, building more equipment, building a lot more support areas. Gifford Pinchot, who worked at Biltmore about 120 years ago, was the chief forester there. When Teddy Roosevelt decided he wanted to nationalize our forests, created the U.S. Park Service as well as the U.S. Forest Service. Gifford Pinchot is the one he appointed to do this. This here is a river full of timber in the Pacific Northwest, using wood to develop rifle stocks, planes, as well as other support material for the war effort. Improve forestry management. When you're cutting timber down, and you can look at all these, but I want to go through a few of them. Such things as directional felling, which means which way the tree's going to fall. We don't want damaging other trees that are going to grow and could become future timber harvesting. Winch skidding, when they drag that log across the forest floor, again, they don't want destroying other potential trees. Avoiding steep slopes. Remember earlier we were talking about how these slopes, if there's no trees there, will create mudslides. Well, they try not to cut on those areas. Thinning. We thin the trees so we can have more larger trees and less small trees. There's some examples of forestry management.